Okay, Blackthornprod, I'm angry at you guys. No, I don't really get angry easily. But I do have a problem with your asset that I'm using. Well, there's nothing technically wrong with it. It just doesn't work in the way that I like it, and it's driving me kind of crazy. So, what it is how these sprites are designed. So, if I go into your guys' characters, I'm in animations right now. Where are the characters at? Prefabs. If I come here to this prefab, the character is made up of multiple different sprites, which sounds like a good thing at first. I'm like, oh, okay, that gives me more control over different things. But the problem is when I go to flip a sprite, it's only going to flip that one sprite. And you think, okay, well, I'll just do a for each loop and just flip each sprite. No big deal. But then when you flip all the sprites, they don't flip exactly correct. This one is hardly noticeable, but you can see when I flip this sprite here, there's like a piece. This blue piece seems to like come over here. It doesn't make any sense. And the rider was up front. Well, now the rider's in the back. And you say, okay, well, you can also change the sort point maybe to pivot, but that doesn't really seem to do anything. And then you think, oh, okay, no big deal. You just change the Euler angles for y to be 180, and that seems like the promise. That seems like the way to go. But I don't know. For some reason, when you are instancing clones, Unity does not. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's not the instancing clones that's the problem. That's what I thought was the problem at first. It's the animations. There's rotations baked into the animations. So you can't just go and change the Euler angles. The animation is going to override it. So this means that for every character that I make, I have to create a duplicate animation and essentially just change essentially change the y value. And even then, that still doesn't work perfectly. Let's see if we can see it here. Let's go to, oops, this is not what I want. Where are my characters? Let's go right here. And we're looking at, oh no, let's not do characters. I want to do enemies. It's a little more noticeable on the enemies. Enemies. Okay. Let's go to, we'll start with the slug. Well, I call it slug. I don't know what you guys call it. If you see the video, let me know. That'd be cool to know what names you gave these guys, if any, other than like their numbered names. All right. I have idle. If I press play, oops, idle's not what I want. Attack is the one that's visible. So attack, we can see that the slug kind of goes up, forward, and down in a fast succession. Now, I duplicated that animation, and then all I did that's different is on the body, not on the parent, because then that would mess with the direction of the math that I would have to do for the movement. So I change the Y rotation on the body to have a plus 180 on it. Let's go back to attack for a second. You'll see that there's no change to the Y rotation here. If we go to the flip, I have changed it so that we make sure we have 180 throughout. But if we press play, you can tell that that's not enough. It doesn't look too bad. It looks comparable to the first animation, but instead of moving right up and down, it's moving like left and then forward. It still has that arcing motion, but the position is going left. And you can say, well, just now fix the position. You already edited the animation for the rotation. Now edit the position. Yeah, that's probably possible, but what an absolute mission it will have to be, because I only have 2 enemies created right now. I got this one going too. This one's a little more obvious to see where things go wrong. But for every enemy I come up with, I'm going to have to do this. Originally, when I only had 1 enemy, this wasn't a problem, because since this only has 1 sprite, I was able to flip the sprite naturally. But then I realized as soon as I added a new enemy that has more than 1 sprite, it became an issue. And I should have known better, because when I made the characters, I had the same problem. And for whatever reason, I thought this won't be a problem with the enemies. And it 100% became a problem with the enemies, which I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyhow, characters have the same problem. Now, it doesn't seem to be as bad. So we have, let's take a look. I haven't really paid too close of attention to it. I didn't notice this issue with the animation side of things until I did it with the enemies. So we're going sort of, from my perspective, up, left, down in a circle. So a counterclockwise circle for idle. Let's put the reverse idle. Well, I'm flipped and I'm going in a clockwise motion, which works out because that would be the flip. So, maybe the issue is because there's no positional movement. So on the characters, the position, well, there is some movement to the position. I could not be seeing it. I don't really even use the other animations. Using attack, I might throw that back in there, but I remember when I was trying to use the attack animations that it was causing some issues. There was something about it that didn't seem right. I don't remember what I thought. Let's see, that's the attack. Let's see the flip of the attack. It looks pretty similar, if not the same. So the same process I did with the characters, I've done with the enemies. So I don't get why I'm getting these discrepancies. Maybe I just made a mistake somewhere. But either way, Blackthornprod, I wish, I'm 100% glad that you guys put all those sprites in there, because there's more to work with. But I really wish you would have also put an additional folder with like a mono sprite that uses sprite animations. That would have made both the character and the enemies so much easier to work with, to just do sprite animations. Yeah. Anyways, with my complaining being done, I've got it so that the enemies all flip correctly now. In the last upload, if you played it, you would have seen that the slugs flipped correctly because I was using flip sprite on the x-axis. But the what I'm calling gnomes, the guys on the butterflies, they weren't flipping because only one of those sprites were flipping, and it was really hard to tell. So I ended up having to rewrite all of that. So it doesn't use the sprite, what do you call it again? Sprite renders flip anymore. I'm, like I just showed you, I'm baking it into the animations, and then just in the animator, I have an is flip bool, or is flip variable, or whatever you want, whatever you want to call it. And then I just sort of have 2 paths that can be taken. From any state, you can be facing one way or facing the other way, and then you have the appropriate attack or whatever. And then any additional thing I want to add, I'm going to have to make 2 of them, which is incredibly annoying. Admittedly, there might be something that I just don't know, that I'm novice enough to be ignorant to. But I looked. I didn't find anything. I could have sworn I had remembered there being like a mirror here. But I remember trying this mirror and it wasn't working correctly. Why wasn't it working correctly? Why wasn't it working correctly? What was it about it? Let's see something. Let's come here to move. This is, what am I on right now? Let's go to the slug. Let's go to the slug. Enemies. Slug. Let's find this animation. It says idle, but really, I'm just using the idle animation for move because the move animation happens way too fast. And I figured the move animation seems to be the same as the idle animation, just sped up. So I don't see the point in having both when I could just speed up the idle animation. But maybe that's just me. All right. Better yet, I want to look at the attack animation. Okay, so let's go to scene here and let's. But I need to open this up first. Slug. Oh, and I could have done it this way too. Attack. Let's press play. Okay. Now. Oh, but I'm not going to be able to see the mirrored version until I'm in the game because I can come here and click mirror. I wonder if I just discovered all my answers. Mirror is flip. So if I just turn is flip on, it'll play the mirror of whatever I'm doing. Let's maybe just break this for a second. And then if I press play, when is flip is true, it should mirror, which means the sprite should flip. Let's test it out. Well, everybody's facing the wrong way currently. Yeah, no, this is not. Well, that guy. Oh, because I didn't change it for him. So there's no flipping happening. And let's take a look. Let's go to the scene and see. Make sure that is flip is actually happening. So let's find somebody who should probably be flipped. I think this guy should be flipped. So we're gonna come here. And we're going to go to the animator for this guy. And then, wait, was that the same guy? This is Slug 16. Yeah, is flip is true. But the mirror doesn't seem to be mirroring. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Until then, I'm just going to keep it in the weird way that I have it. Yeah, so let's. I could just probably do that. Off and that off. Save the game. But yeah, in this latest update, I've made it so that the enemies flip properly. Let me just go ahead and show that now. They don't flip exactly like the player. I've made the animation happen immediately. I originally did that with the player as well, but I thought that weird like 2D rotation was really cool, and I just kept it. It helps differentiate the player from the enemies. But look, now the gnome guys, they flip correctly. And attacks also happen correctly now from the enemies. It took me a while to figure it out. Oh, no, they're not happening correctly. Look at that. You see how the enemies are flipping to attack? I thought I fixed that. Could have sworn I fixed that. And you know what? I don't even remember what I did. I don't even remember what I did to fix the problem. I could have sworn that I fixed it. So why is flip true and this is flip false? Why is it that it's being funny? If flip is true in attack, if it was false in attack. Oh yeah, it was this. Was it this? Oh, it might be this has exit time. That might be part of the problem. I don't think it has exit time. Interesting. Well, another thing that I've bugged up here. So if you play the version that's uploaded currently, those attacks are going to be inaccurate. Okay, he's attacking correctly there. There's a correct attack. Okay, I think the exit time, I forgot to change that. I think what it was is before I had it going into 2 lanes, I had like an X shape where you could also attack from any state. And I think I had made the attacking correct there, but there was other problems. I truly don't remember. And then this ended up being my solution. And I probably just never checked to see that the flipping while attacking was occurring because I had already thought I solved the problem. But yeah, I guess I could just build it again. Let's go back to here. Take this off. I guess I could just rebuild it and post it. It's not like it takes a long time to do. Let's play it again. And see. All right, that attacking looks correct. Oh, wait, there were some guys that were just backwards for no good reason. That was interesting. What was that about? So I've got another bug there. Why were those guys just flipped the wrong way? Maybe when the object pooler, maybe one died facing that way, right? So it was deactivated. And now the object pooler later is turning that same one back on. But since maybe my if statement is set up in such a way, well, no, because it's checking by distance. Let's see. Let's go to the enemy movement script and take a look, because I really don't like things to repeat when they don't need to repeat. So here, I'm going into enemy animation. This is where I did the flip in enemy animation. And so I'm saying if the direction is greater than 0 and flip is false, then we make it flip. So I'm not always just saying flip, 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 flip. This should only flip us if we need to be flipped. But maybe what's happening is the direction is greater than 0 and flip is true because flip was true when it died. No, but if flip was true when it was turned off, then it should have been flipped. I don't know. I guess that's something I could take a peek at. Anyways, yeah, so that was something I did in this update. Made it so that at least also the gnome guys can flip. And the other thing I did in this update was make it so that all the currency drops on the floor, they disappear when the next level starts, making it more difficult to gather currency. Now, in order to get currency, you really have to push in. Of course, it's going to be very easy off the start. I might still also make it so that, so if I skip this, you can see that currency went away. I might still, I might make it a drop chance instead of a guaranteed drop. I don't know if that's worth doing. I think the alternative would be to just increase the value of what it costs to buy things. That would, one, be an easier alternative. but part of me thinks that there's just too much clutter on the floor. That could be due to the shape of the thorns. I asked AI to make a thorn. Originally, I was not going to use any other art assets uh, other than the Blackthornprod asset pack. Um, and then the only thing that I was going to make was the particle effects, which I did make particle effects for the fire, but doing the particle effects for the knife just it wasn't really cutting it for me. So I said, AI make a dagger, and then I said, oh, that looks kind of nice. AI make a fireball. AI make some thorns. Now, I if this were a product that I planned on putting out for sale or something that like I do care about this, but like this project is also ultimately just practice. It's just I'm just doing it just to do it. There's no deep end game to this, so I'm using AI just to quickly do some things. Um, in the other game that I'm making, Data Monsters, there will be no AI unless I develop the AI, um, which I likely won't. That sounds like a big pain to me. But all assets in Data Monsters will be handcrafted. Everything. Not a lick of AI will be in it. Everything will be 100% original. But in here, I'm using the AI, baby. Let's go. Uh, anyway, so the shape of the thorns could be why I think it looks cluttered. Well, now it doesn't look cluttered because everything gets cleaned up at the end of a level. But when it wasn't getting cleaned up, it looked really cluttered. So maybe I just answered my clutter question there. The answer is no, it's not cluttered. But I say that now. There in the future, there'll probably be abilities that kill a bunch of enemies all at once, and then boom, you have a whole drop of drops. I don't know. Uh, I think that's it. I feel like I did something else, but I can't remember what I did. Oh yeah, I also increased the opacity on the heart here on the health display. It's still kind of dark, but I really don't want it to stand out too much. I also thought about oh my goodness, right now. Let me go to my scenes. Hold on. Scene. Let's go to the this scene. Right now, when I don't press play, you can see the heart here because it's part of the prefab. But when we press play, in the title screen, it goes away. But I kind of think maybe I should just keep it since each character is going to have a unique heart associated to it. I think it might be cool to have it in the title screen as well. It gives it a little bit of flair and individuality is not the right word. I don't know. I like the iconicism. That doesn't sound right either. It helps the player identify the character, but that makes it seem like the character wasn't identifiable enough as it is, which it totally is. I don't know. I like it. Maybe I'll put it. Maybe I keep it gone. I don't know. Another thing I want to do with that heart in game is have it like throb, and then maybe as it gets smaller, it starts beating faster, like it's in a panic. But I have to change some things about it. The way I have it set up makes animating it a little tricky since it gets smaller as you get hit, and I'm changing the transforms scale to make it smaller. The way I animate the throbbing, I guess I wouldn't do it through the animator. I'd have to do it through code, which is fine. But I just have to get around to it. I'm back at my main job, and that's just I forgot how much time in the day it takes for me, which has been making working on these projects a lot harder to do because I'm just tired when I get home. And This project's a little easier. That's why I'm doing a Thorn Survivors update this week. But the data monsters, it takes a lot more thought, critical thinking, planning, creating everything. And it can be intensive, at least to me. And coming home after me, usually my 8 hours is usually 10 hours because something's wrong with me. And coming home after 10 hours and then doing another 2 or 3 hours of something else that's intense um, is a lot. So these updates are probably going to be small up until summer again. And then when summer comes, I'm going to hit it hard. And yeah, I think I'm going to stop rambling and ranting and whatever. And peace out of here. Oh, I'm peacing out.